Luka and the Lakers set for a showdown with the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are the hottest team in the league, while Luka is the hottest player with 13 straight 30-point games. His backcourt bro, Austin Reeves, playing way above par as well, averaging 23 points, 6 assists in his last 6 games. And the league's all-time leading scorer, linking up with his Mind the Game podcast co-host, Steve Nash. Tip-off in OKC coming up at 6:30. As we say hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. Allie Clifton alongside the Hall of Famer, big game James Worthy, our good buddy old pal Mike Bresnahan, yes, Professor Brez.
Yes, sir.
Analyst Brez. How are we doing, guys?
Big game today. Really big game. I mean, hey, March was incredible.
Really is.
Could not have been any better. And James, you know what the calendar always does? Eventually it turns a page. They're into the next month, so we'll see what April holds for the Lakers.
It almost feels it's not like playoffs yet. But maybe a little preview, yeah. But it's a big game for the Lakers, and you know they've been playing well. So, and Luka is he's a distant third in that MVP race. So I see he come on with his cool shades on tonight. So that means he's going to be hot. He's got his shades on.
This is why you guys are good at what you do, because we're going to talk about all of that stuff over the next 60 minutes. In case you've been living under a rock the past 4 weeks, the Lakers have been on fire. 15-2 in the month of March, 13-1 in their last 14 games. They clinched their first back-to-back 50-win season since 2011. The magic number to clinch the 3 seed is 4. Luka Doncic was named West Player of the Month after averaging 37.5 points in 16 games. In a big matchup against the Thunder tonight, the Lakers are 0-2 versus OKC this season. Those are the numbers. And kind of what you just mentioned, big game. It is a big game, and I'm not sure there's a better matchup to have this late in the season. Obviously headlined by the 2 top scorers in the NBA with their teams playing elite-level basketball.
And, you know, both teams have had injuries. I think both teams are fully healthy now. And so when you think of, like, the dominant players, obviously Shea and Luka come to mind, you know, Austin Reeves, you know, I always like Caruso on this team. He always seems to have a, you know, not revenge, but he's such a tough player. You got Jalen Williams who's back, and, you know, supporting cast, the way, you know, Oklahoma has been able to sustain itself, even with Shea out, has been impressive, Brez. And so, yeah, Lakers have the work cut out for them in Oklahoma.
Yeah, really good team. OKC favored by 9.5. That surprised me a little bit. Seems a little high. But you know, they just played each other about 6 weeks ago, and it was a really interesting game. There was no Luka that night. There was also no Shea that night. So, you know, everyone else kind of jumped in and had themselves a really good game until about 5 minutes left, and OKC slowly pulled away. Jalen Williams was really good in the final few minutes, in particular a couple forays down in the lane to put OKC away. They won by 9 that night. And as you can see, I mean, OKC, remember, Allie, on some of the podcasts back in like November, December, I remember personally saying, oh, they're gonna beat the Bulls record. They're gonna have 75 wins, because they started out like 20-1 or something crazy like that. Obviously, they cooled down a lot, James, but still the class of the NBA record-wise, and obviously they are the defending champs. So the Lakers tonight have to say, look, even though Vegas is saying we're underdogs, you know, we're going to announce our presence right now by beating the defending champs.
It's pretty nice to see that your team is a top 5 team in the NBA record-wise. How about that? That's for sure when you look down at that graphic.
It's been a while. You know, unfortunately, you know, we talk about play-in and years before that, not making the playoffs. So yeah, to being third is and a chance to you know prove your point. It's a good place to be.
Yeah. Speaking of play-in, we were actually talking about that just a couple months ago with this squad. But how about this? Despite being 0-2 versus the Thunder this season, big game. The last time they saw them was February 9th. It was right before the All-Star break. They're 18-6 since then. What's changed?
Maybe they learned a lesson. You know, when you play against the best and you fail, you see areas where you made mistakes and you see what you have to do. So they've had to measure themselves, you know, and I think, you know, after, you know, some losses like that, they got healthy. Obviously, we always talk about how important that is. But then they committed to their roles. Everybody was unselfish. You know, everybody committed to defense. You know, Marcus Smart really just, you know, he put his stamp on this team when he first came. He had LeBron James diving after basketball. It's a 41-year-old vet. So I think they just have committed to, knowing what their role is. LeBron playing off ball and, allowing Luka and Austin to thrive. And so I just think it's, understanding how to win and what it's, equal to is the record that you just said. It's just been pretty good.
Yeah, James' defense has been outstanding since that game against OKC. And Allie, just look what they did in March. I mean, they beat Denver by really holding Jamal Murray down. They beat Minnesota by knocking Ant-Man way off course. They held the Knicks under 100, and on and on and on. Those two games in Houston that were basically back-to-back, 2 games over 3 days on the road, same team. I love what they did defensively against that team. So the easy answer for me is defense. Luka and LeBron James, they're playing outstanding right now, almost like they've been saving themselves a little bit. It's like, all right, these are the games that mean something, and here we go. We're going to set the tone. Reminds me of the way that LeBron played after AD got traded last February. He really stepped up his game defensively, and that's happening almost every night for this Laker team. It's fun to watch. A
lot of fun to watch. Let's take a look at the injury report. Marcus Smart, he is out for the 6th straight game with a right ankle contusion. And then on the Thunder side, former Laker Alex Caruso, he is questionable with an illness. We'll keep an eye on that, of course, because we know what it means when Alex Caruso is available. For more, we check in with Laker reporter Mike Trudell, who joins us live from Oklahoma City. Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to Oklahoma City. And Allie, you just talked about Marcus Smart. Certainly a matchup where the Lakers are going to miss him. He likely would have been the guy to start on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We expect that will shift to Jake LaRavia, who has been playing really well defensively in the absence of LA's best defensive player. Now, as for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I asked JJ Redick a couple of questions about them. Just where do you focus? And to me, the ball pressure that they present is very much a challenge for every opposing offense. It is a challenge, though, that the Lakers have done well with this year, generally speaking. Luka Doncic so good on the ball, LeBron so good on the ball, and Reeves as well. So how do those things square tonight in OKC? Here's JJ Redick on that topic.
There's certain ways you can counter it. You got to be strong with the basketball. Again, your offensive physicality matters. KYP matters. But they're relentless in their disruption.
Is there anything that you've seen from them recently that differs from the previous matchups that you've had, just kind of like how they're playing right now and getting a couple guys back, and what stands out about them the most?
No, I think they've done a great job, going back probably 5 years now. Just it takes time, but they've really built an identity of who they are, and they play to that style. And whether they go 9 deep or 12 deep in a game, they're going to play to that style.
The fact that your top 3 players have played as well as they have together, and how that share of the offensive pie goes as far as the touch, who's getting what touches in certain lineups. Like, how does this matchup kind of encourage you that you've had that time to get those guys to value the basketball better and get your team, your offense better shot?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had their respective teams. They combined 29 and 3 in the month of March. So we take a look at the numbers for the 2 MVP candidates. Luka leading the league at nearly 34 points a game. Shai not too far behind at 31.6 points. SGA more efficient from the field and from range. Luka leading Shai in points and rebounds, but SGA's Thunder also have the league's best record. So when 2 guys became, specifically Luka and Shai, they want to be the best versions of themselves, especially when they go up against one another. This probably, here down the stretch, something that they circle on the calendar. Mm-hmm. What do you kind of expect to see from these 2?
I can remember when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson paid so much attention to one another. After every game, Magic would want to look at the stats and see what Boston did as we look forward to playing them. Not overlooking anybody, but I could see Shai has won a championship, and he was MVP as well. So he's looking to do back-to-back in both categories, I believe. Was he MVP last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's looking to go back-to-back. Now you have Luka, who's played in the finals, gone through a trade and all that stuff, having a really good season. Hell yeah, there's some noticeability there that especially Luka notices that Shea has already achieved and still ahead of him at this moment. So it's a team game, but the great ones, yeah, they are aware of where each other are.
James, I have voted on this award in the past when I was at the LA Times, and I don't understand the odds for it right now. Allie, if you put $100 on Luka to win the MVP, you're going to win $2,000. If you put $100 on Wemby, you win only $250. If you put $100 on Shea, you win about $30.
It's crazy.
Plus your bet back. So that's how big of a favorite Shea is, and frankly, I can't comprehend it. I know OKC's been great all season, wire to wire. They've had the best record in the league. San Antonio's starting to chase them a little bit. Maybe that's why Wemby is getting some attention. But the fact that Luka is third, which sounds great on paper, but such a distant third, yeah, it continues to boggle my mind, especially after that March that he just had. And here's some, these are from a different sports book than I was looking at. But even here, it's worse for Luka. If you put $100 down, you win $3,000. Better for you if you make that bet, obviously. But it just shows like how far Luka is behind this group, and it's got to be wins and losses, James. It really has to be. And I've said that before on the air. The first thing that voters for this award look for, including me back in the day, who are the best teams in the league, and then okay, who are their best players? And with the Lakers being 10 games behind OKC, that's got to be it, James, because I can't figure it out.
They need to change it. If that's it, they need to change it and look, more into it, more analytically, and see how, the impact that Luka's had, how he's playing, the consistency, the efficiency, and the impact that he's had. I know Shea's great, but it can't be. I mean, if an individual is playing so well, if they were like in 6. Or somewhere down there, but
yeah,
they've emerged to third, and they've taken care of some tiebreakers, and they've, and so I think they need to change it if that's the thing that they're looking at when they judge it.
I mean, it's human nature, right? I mean, how many times has an MVP come from a team that's not first, second, or third in their own conference? Obviously, the Lakers are third in the West, but it's really rare that a guy, Jokic won it when Denver was in 6th. A few years ago. These things can happen. Russ was on a not-so-great team, and he won it when he averaged a triple-double. But I just don't get the discrepancy. Again, great. You're the bronze medalist right now if you're in third in the voting or in